Hey everyone, I'm Anne-Marie. You are watching the Hello Basque YouTube channel, and today I am recording this video from my dorm room in the Basque Country. I am 6 days into my first full immersion Basque language course, and I want to tell you all about it. Kind of what my thoughts are. I'm basically at the halfway point of this course. It's a 12-day summer intensive. So I'm just making this video to tell you about my experience, what it's been so far. This is all personal to what I'm going through. I figured it'd be useful to make this video though and share my experience with you in case there's anyone out there who's curious to learn more about the Basque boarding school model for Basque language learning, or if there's just any Basque people out there who are curious to hear the struggles of an American woman trying to learn this very difficult language. I mean, you're in the right place. So that's what today's video is about. First things first, by the time you see this video, I'm definitely not going to be in this program anymore. This Basque language course is so intensive that I don't really have time to edit videos and post them as I'm going, so I'm just kind of recording while I'm here, and then I'll be editing and posting it much later. So if you do actually want to see kind of what this Basque school looks like, you can head over to my Instagram at Hello Basque and go through and look back and see my posts, because I have a lot of photos and videos over there about this Basque school. If you're new to the channel, some things about me. My dad is from the Basque Country. I'm from California. I've been studying Basque off and on for like 3 years, both in person classes in San Francisco. Yes, they do have Basque classes in the United States at Basque centers, basically. But also I was doing virtual Basque classes and studying on my own. I was watching Basque TV online, like lots of different little study methods kind of when I had time or motivation over the last few years. My dad does speak Basque, but I never learned it with him as a kid because, well, he was always working, and so we didn't really spend that much time together when I was a kid. That sounds bad, but we did spend time together, but I guess not really enough for me to pick up being able to speak Basque. My English is very good though. And I'm motivated to learn Basque, and I was motivated to do this intensive Basque language course here in the Basque Country because I felt like with all of my studying I was doing on my own and in my classes in the US, I don't want to say plateaued, but I felt like I came to a point where there were some concepts that I wanted to learn in Basque that I wasn't understanding, and in the classes I was taking, it was always considered like too advanced for the level class we were doing. Like the teachers had students at all different levels, right? Some people who were starting like right from the beginning and others who had been studying for a while, so it was hard to balance. So there were some things in Basque that I wanted to level up, and I felt like I couldn't really do that from California. So here we are. I'm in the Basque province of Gipuzkoa. The school is called Maispide. It's a barnetegi, which is the Basque word for like a boarding school, a Basque boarding school. And it's in the town of Lascaux, which is close to Beasain, or Tolosa isn't too far either, if you want to know the geography. But I'm also going to link down in the description of this video to their website so you can see exactly what school I'm talking about. So it's a boarding school model. Clearly I'm in my dorm. They have classes throughout the school year where they have boarders, but also like weekend classes, I think, maybe even night classes. I'm not 100% sure, but they have classes for local people and, you know, people to stay in. So you could do that in the regular school year. I work at a school, and so I can't do that. So I have my summers off though. So they do language intensive courses over the summer, 12 days straight. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm on day 6, halfway through my 12-day course. And the great thing about this model is that everything within this building happens in Basque. So not only are you studying Basque in class, but also outside of class, everything is in Basque. And because you're living here, everything is in Basque. Like you can't escape it. It's just your whole life is in Basque from like the minute you walk through that door. My schedule is way more intense than I thought it would. Before I left, I made a YouTube video. I'll link that in the description below if you want to see me all like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I thought maybe I would have time to make videos and post, content on YouTube while I was here, because I thought I would have some downtime. No, there's like no downtime. They don't want to give you any chance to like go off and speak other languages, I think. So there's breakfast for an hour between 7:45 and 8:45 in the morning. And that's kind of, self-serve, come as you go. So you could just sneak in, right at 8:40 and grab something. But then you've got class at 9. So I have 3 official class periods and then like an activity period at the end of the day, which I'll get into. So we have 2 hours of class in the morning from 9 to 11 straight with one teacher. Then we have a half-hour break at 11. 11:30 to 1:30, another 2 hours straight with a second teacher. And then lunch at 1:30 in the dining hall with your classmates, so you can continue practicing Basque. And then class starts up again at 3:15 to 6:15, so a 3-hour block with a third teacher. And then a little bit of a break as well. And then 6:30 to 7:30, we have an activities hour with an activities leader. And that actually usually runs overtime, so that's 7:30. End time is loose. And then dinner at 9 o'clock. And then, there you go. Do it all over again the next day. So yeah, it's all day Basque. So I came into this signing up for the A2 level. The way they rank the levels of courses, I guess, is A1 is like beginner, A2 was like a little more advanced beginner, and then you go into B1 intermediate, B2 even more intermediate, advanced intermediate, and then C1 I think is like the highest level class they offer, and that's like the advanced course. So I jumped into A2. The courses I was taking in the US are kind of organized differently. I was at an A1.2 level, so like a 1.5 level pretty much. Not quite yet at A2, but during the dates that I could come here, they didn't have enough students who were interested in doing an A1 level course, or they didn't have enough enrollment, so they weren't offering A1. So I was faced with a choice, either forget it or just jump into the deep end and sink or swim, baby, A2. And that's what I chose to do. The way the classes work is on the first day, they gave us a folder. Oh, let me go grab it actually. So here's the folder they gave us on the first day. And now it's full of classwork. But on the first day, it just had a printout, all in Basque, thank you very much, with the daily schedule and the rules and, important things to know about our time here. And what I really appreciate about this folder is that you open it up and it's basically a cheat sheet. So it's like all the verbs you're gonna need to know, and then suffixes on this page, because Basque has a lot of suffixes. So I love this folder. I have it open on my desk every day at every class. And yeah, so they didn't give us a workbook or a textbook or anything. The teachers just give printouts, like printed handouts of lessons and exercises, activities, based on what they're trying to teach us that day. And what I really love about the classes here is, since I work in a school, I'm kind of a nerd about like learning and teaching especially. And so from what I've observed, the way that they teach is really good because they have so many different ways of teaching. It's not just like one model. So the teachers will like do direct instruction where they'll start off explaining a grammatical concept, and they literally have chalkboards. How old school. They'll literally go on the chalkboard and like write all over the chalkboard all of these examples of how to use this different grammatical thing we're learning, right? And then, they'll have us do workbook exercises quietly so we can like practice the concepts that, they've just explained. And then we go through it together as a class. And, if, there's something that, like an answer we all got wrong, like the teacher will kind of stop everything and explain it some more, which I really appreciate because I need that. And but also we'll do like practice speaking too. So based on whatever theme of like the exercises we're doing or a reading we just did, or like a vocabulary list they just gave us, they'll divide us into small groups so we can like speak to each other about the assigned topic. So far it's been about like, describe your town, where you're from. Do you like a big city or do you prefer a small town? How do you shop? Like, where do you buy your food? What kind of food do you cook? Stuff like that, like really basic, beginner language learning stuff. But we also do listening activities too. So they'll like play audio clips and we'll have to, answer some comprehension questions or like true or false questions about, what we just listened to. And same thing with videos. They'll show like a 3-minute video. Sometimes it's been like radio reports or news reports or like little documentary snippets. And we'll do comprehension checks with that. Sometimes we will practice speaking as an entire class where the teacher will just go around and ask every single one of us a question and we have to answer it in front of everyone, which stresses me out. But yeah, there's all sorts of different ways that they teach, and I really appreciate that, especially because all of the instruction is in Basque, like all of it. They don't switch to Spanish or any other language. Maybe if there's like one word or something that people really aren't understanding, the teacher will like translate it. But like whenever they give an explanation, if someone doesn't understand something, the explanation is always in Basque, which I think is really great. Because even in the explanation, you're still practicing understanding Basque. It's not like they'll switch to the language and it'll be like, oh, okay, that's what that means, and you're done with it. It's like, no, it's like the whole experience. You're always learning. And then at the end of the day, our activities so far have been, the second night, really throwing you in the deep end. The second night, they took us on a little field trip in town. We went to the theater and they had a play. It was 2 hours long, no intermission. Thank you very much. But it was pretty funny from what I could tell. I didn't understand all of it. But it was like a 2-person play and it was all in Basque. Really cool. One day we went on a walking tour of the town and our activities leader described to us kind of like the main landmarks and some things about the town that you wouldn't know by just looking at it. Like you'd have to, talk to people from there, like little, historical anecdotes and stuff. One day our activity was to go to a bar and we sat outside at a big table and we all had a drink, and our leader passed around like a deck of cards. It was like conversation starter cards. It was like, tell me about a time or tell me about a person, blah, blah. And we'd each, pick a card and take turns, answering the prompt. So really creative stuff like that. Oh, one day we just colored and listened to Basque music, which I think was my favorite day because I just needed some quiet time, And I think it was like day 4. Yeah. And that was really helpful for me actually, because not only did I need like to relax a little, but also listening to like the songs while we were coloring, I realized that I was understanding a lot of the song lyrics that 4 days before I would not have understood. So it was like a good marker of, I guess, the progress I've made without even, I don't think it was intentional, but it did something for me. So that's a little bit about the structure of the courses. The food is all family style. Everyone just eats what we're given. Maybe if people had dietary needs or vegetarians, I don't know, maybe they arranged that separately. But from what I've seen, we're all just eating the same thing, like one big happy family. And so with all of that being said, I will say, I probably should have started with this, but this is a really challenging experience. If you couldn't tell from all of that, like to learn a language, it's really effective, but it's also really hard. And for me, it was super emotional. And I think for a lot of people, now that I'm like starting to talk to people a little more, I think it has been for other people here as well. For me, it was super emotional just because I felt, well, first of all, I was terrified. If you go back and watch that video where I talked about coming here, like I think I was scared like 20 times. I was so scared to come here, so intimidated. Because I've heard Basque my whole life, like my family speaks Basque, my dad speaks Basque with his friends, like I've been around it, but I've never, been in an environment where I was expected to like understand and speak and know stuff, So that was really intimidating. And also it was super emotional because like from on day 1, like I just felt like I was so behind everybody else because everybody else is from here. Like they live in the Basque country, in my course at least, during this intensive 12 days. Everyone in my class is from here, or from Spain, and live in the Basque country. And they've been taking classes here. So I think the level of instruction is higher here, or maybe just they have more classes. Like my class at home was like an hour and a half to 2 hours, once a week. Whereas I've talked to people here where they were taking classes 3 days a week for 2 hours each. So it's just different, right? So people here in my class on day one, like I was hearing them speak and using all these verbs that I never even heard before, and their vocabularies were so big, and I was just like, I'm drowning, like what am I doing? I don't know anything. So it was just really, it was hard. It was really hard. If you followed on Instagram, like I was, those first 2 days were rough. I was losing it. Like every break I had, I would like run back up here to my room and just like be alone. And I got really intense into like movement, because I don't know, for me that's like a way to regulate emotions. So it was like every day I was doing yoga in my room, I was doing meditation, I was going out for like walks by myself, I was doing like workouts in my room, like push-ups, squats, lunges, like anything to get my heart rate up, because I learned when I woke up on the second day at 6:30 in the morning to do a bunch of squats, lunges, and push-ups that you can't be anxious about the day ahead if you're like suffering physically. So that was a strategy that worked for me, is working for me, because like I haven't stopped. And also because we are sitting in a classroom for 7 to 8 hours a day. So for me, I've been using exercise and yoga and meditation as like a coping skill. So it's hard. I feel like anyone who's thinking about doing this, like you have an idea that it's going to be really challenging on many levels, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I'm just here to say, it is. And I am really grateful that I did spend so much time studying ahead of time, even though I have so much more to learn, but just like that I did have some foundation at a beginner's Basque level, I think really helped me understand, concepts. But also before I came, I would watch a Basque soap opera on Basque TV online called Goenkale, which I've talked about on the channel before. I watched about 100 episodes of this TV show. They're like half-hour episodes, no subtitles. So I didn't understand like 75% of it, to be honest. I could follow the storyline because it was like really dramatic acting, but like the words and what they were saying, I didn't really understand. But I think just doing that like helped train my ear to listen for the type of Basque that they speak here. And I think that really, really helped me. So, I mean, it's not fun to be like doing at home when you could be doing a million other things, but I highly recommend it if anyone's thinking about coming and doing like a full immersion Basque course. That helped me out. I haven't met anyone here yet. Well, maybe I have, but I haven't been able to find the words to talk to people here about if someone here like started from nothing, like knowing nothing about the Basque language. I've heard it's been done. I heard of people who have done that. And who stayed long enough to like get to a really like decent intermediate level with Basque, and like hats off to them, because I feel like this would have been a million times harder if I hadn't, already studied and, spent all that time practicing listening. And it was already really freaking hard. So in conclusion, on day 6, halfway through this 12-day course, I can say I'm very happy I came. Because the plateau that I felt that I was at linguistically, like from literally the first hour, like I overcame it. It was like the one concept, if you're familiar with Basque, is nor nori nork. I didn't understand it at all. I was trying to teach myself and it just wasn't making sense because there's nothing like it in English at all. And literally in the first hour here, the teacher, did a little lecture about it and examples, and it started to make sense. Which is weird to think that it made sense when someone was explaining it to me in Basque, a language I barely understand, easier than when someone tried to explain it to me in English. I don't know how it works, but it worked. So I'm very happy I came because already I've gotten out of this what I wanted and then a million times more. I think this experience is also really invaluable for someone who's trying to learn to speak Basque because this is your playground. Like, this gives you such a huge opportunity to do just that, because if you want to connect with anyone here, you have to try to speak Basque. There's no other way. And I think that's really down to the fact that this is an environment where, like, at least in this course, in this time here and now, when I'm here, I feel like everyone here really wants to learn. I was kind of worried that outside of class, people would just default to Spanish and that I'd be kind of lost and be the American girl, like, cool. But everyone in my class, at least, like, makes such a huge effort to speak Basque. Everybody speaks Basque at meals. And I thought maybe it was, being in these walls, because even the lunch ladies will, like, chastise you if they hear Spanish. Like, they'll tell you, you need to speak Basque. I thought maybe if we'd left, to go to a bar or a restaurant or something, people would switch to Spanish. But no, everyone's speaking Basque all the time, which is really cool, especially because I'm in a beginner's class. So, like, even the people who speak Basque, like, better than me, like, they're Basque, like, we speak like babies. We speak like, toddlers. Like, our grammar, like, doesn't really work. And I mean, I don't make sense half the time because I haven't mastered verbs yet. But yeah, it's just a huge opportunity to practice speaking. And even though I could practice speaking at home with my dad, and I do sometimes, I feel like sometimes when you're practicing with family or friends or a partner or whatever, people personally maybe have less patience with you trying to figure it out. But everyone here is so nice, so patient. The teachers, I think the best part about it is they let you struggle. Like, they give you the time and the space to, like, figure out what you're trying to say and how to say it. And they will eventually come in and, like, maybe, correct you or offer, the verb that you're missing or whatever. But half the time they just, like, they let me say, whatever grammatically incorrect thing comes out of my mouth, and then they just answer me, like, as if I had, said it correctly. Like, it's not harsh. It's really, like, kind and generous and patient. I don't know. It's just really good. So if you're really trying to learn how to speak, because you could study books and whatever on your own. Like, I learned quite a bit of concepts, just doing Basque workbooks. But if you're really trying to learn how to speak, I feel like this is an amazing opportunity. So far, day 6, highly recommend. Again, I've got a link to this school down below. If you have any more questions about this experience, let me know in the comments. It may very well be that I will have already answered, your questions without knowing it in a future video, because I do plan on doing another video when I'm done with my 12 days to give you an update and see if anything has changed, what kind of breakthroughs I've had, anything else I may have missed in this video. So I'm gonna have another video coming out. Check back in for that one. Subscribe to the Hello Basque YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss it. And if you really don't want to miss it, you can click the bell to get notified when I post videos. Otherwise, yes, like I said, if you want to get caught up to see kind of what things look like here at the school, the dining room, the food, the walks I've been on around town, go check out my Instagram at Hello Basque. Maybe that'll give you a better picture if you're really interested in this school specifically, which again is Maispide Barnetegi in Lascaux, Gipuzkoa. If you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Agur!